welcome to our channel, Happy Canyon Homesteads. I just wanted to give you a little update of the garden. Our last update was Memorial Day, so now we're sitting at the end of July. We're a little bit month and a half past. Just wanted to give you a little update. So walk in here. We'll start over here with the pond. I put dirt around the pond. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff growing around it. A butterfly bush, some what is that? It's not like
salvia.
Salvia. It's like dirt going around it. The other reason why I did dirt besides just planting stuff around it is we have got the morning sun rising over here, but in the afternoon it goes over here, and I didn't want it just baking the backside of the pond. So we've got dirt around the pond. I built back here, I've built a filter out of a 5-gallon bucket. So we've got our solar pond coming up from the bottom. It's coming up, coming into here. It's going down to the bottom. I've got a PVC T. Then I've got two 90s going the opposite direction. So it's swirling the water up. All the way down at the bottom, I've got scrubby pads from the dollar store. And I've got those packed really tight. At the very top, I've got lava rock. Then I'll go right over here and I'll show you on, it's kind of I have it hidden, and I'm hoping, eventually when all this stuff grows big, you won't see anything. I've got so it fills all the way to the top of the bucket. Then I've got an overflow right here that it comes into our waterfall. It was, my pipe coming out wasn't big enough, so it started filling the bucket. So I just put in an extra little bypass here that I can turn on and off. And then this one, oops, there goes the bee. So then this one will have more water, but it was overflowing. So then that's why I just did it where I can open that guy if I want. So that's been good, doing good since last time. We've got a blueberry here. Just started it this year. We got some blueberries off it, but it's the end of the season. So for the blueberry, so it's doing that. We've got our tomatoes over here. This guy had a bunch of aphids on it. We've sprayed it. It looks like we've got most of them. I've seen a bunch of ladybugs in the garden, which is good. Haven't seen them on this, but our tomatoes seem to be doing good. The leaves are curling in, telling me not getting enough water, which we've been watering them every night. So kind of trying to figure out, it might be the sun too.
Plus the sprinklers 2 times a day are also watering them.
Yeah, and they're watering it. Here we've got the iron cart, and man, the beginning of the year when we planted this, it was very sparse in here, and now it is just, I can't wait to see what it's going to look like at the end of the season. It is just taken off, and I'll have to show it the other here. I'll show the other side kind of hanging down, and just, it looks really pretty from back here. So we've got our other tomato over here, and although it looks rough too, we've got good tomatoes already fruiting on it. So it's gonna do good. We've got 3 over here. That's kind of a funny story with this one over here. So then I was gonna show you over here on this tomato. So all the tomatoes and everything from the garden, besides stuff that we just planted from seeds directly in the beds. We started in an indoor grow tent, all the peppers and stuff from seed to let them grow bigger, and all of our tomatoes, which at the beginning of the season, they were so small, I didn't think they were gonna make it. So right over here on the left side, this guy, I am not sure if this one's a cherry. It doesn't, aroma maybe, I'm not positive. But its top broke off and there was hardly anything left. So we didn't think it was gonna make it. So we had an extra one and we're like, well, let's just plant that in there. And boy, they're both gonna just kind of tangle and intermingle, but it's a super, I'm not sure which one this one was. It's definitely not it's not a cherry. We've got a cherry in the middle.
That was the purple rain.
Oh yeah, the purple rain being very thick. And over here, we've got another purple rain where it's just, they don't grow tall, but man, their stalks are just really, really thick. Here we've got Creeping Virginia kind of overtaking the fence. I've got a love-hate relationship with the Creeping Virginia, because I think it's pretty, especially when it's going to cover the whole fence. But I'm constantly, especially down when we walk down further, I'll show you, I'm constantly just pulling it up like crazy because it's shoot, it probably grows that much in a day. It's invasive. It grows quick, it covers quick, but I've been fighting with it. I'll show you a project we're gonna do later on that we haven't done, is we've got a lot of open space in our garden. Right here in the corner, we're gonna have a strawberry box. We haven't got there yet. And we're also in the center here where we've got our chairs. We're gonna do a big giant pergola in the middle, so it doesn't mess with the shade of anything, just gives us a little nicer area, and do some pavers out here for us. Haven't got that, one project at a time. Well, more like 10 projects at a time, but we haven't got there yet. So let's start over here on this bed. We've got our lettuce over here. We've actually had a very cool start to the year this year. So the lettuce took a long time to take off. Now we've got too much lettuce than we know what to do with. This is our bok choy, and it just bolted right away, right to flower. Went to seed. Over here, what one was this one again?
Katsuna. Or I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. I think it was just a freebie and
it was a free seed from Baker Seed.
We've got a little, looks like we got a little pea that got a little bush pea that got transplanted over here. Our marigolds keep things down. One thing we're gonna do next year is we're gonna split the beds up into 4 sections and only plant like 1 section of lettuce, 1 section, because we end up getting, we'd have to be turtles to be able to eat this much lettuce. We can't eat this much lettuce, it's too much.
We'll give it to the birds.
Yeah, that's the one good thing, is having the birds, as you can hear in the background, they'll eat any extra leftovers. Here's all our onions. I guess these are something we didn't necessarily do from seed, because we went to Home Depot and we bought some of the bulbs that were already started. We did do some from seed, and if you can come down here and look, these are the ones we did from seed, and then these are the ones we bought. Now, obviously when we bought them, they were very small, but maybe if you started the seeds really early and you had a little tent over your beds, maybe that would work, but there's no way these would mature into anything good. So luckily we bought these from Home Depot. My experiment I did with the onions that were starting to go to seed inside, I guess there is one right there. This one kind of looks like it died off. Doesn't look like they really worked, but it was just an experiment. I put some straw over here to keep the beds moist, try to keep the weeds out as much as I can. Here's our sad garlic. We already harvested all the scapes from it. The scapes are the little curly Q at the top, and you can saute them up. You can.
Right there.
We have one? Another one?
Maybe one.
I don't.
Little,
Where? Right here? Maybe.
little
I don't know.
speck.
But last year we didn't have, I kind of said before, we didn't have the beds done when we were doing the garlic. So we had them in a Rubbermaid tote. We started it late. So next year, hopefully the garlic looks a lot better, but we're just, we're practicing, learning. So the next bed, look at this huge bumblebee right here. See if you can get a sight in on this big guy. Just got a ton of nectar in his sacs. Just a ton of pollen right there. Not nectar, pollen on his sacs. But these are our radishes, and they've flowered and went to seed. And my bees, which another thing that happened since my last video, I was able to catch a wild swarm of bees up the street. And so most of these, there's no way to tell, but theoretically most of these honeybees on here are from my hive down there, and they are just absolutely loving this radish as it's going to seed. What we're going to do is we're going to pull out most of them and replant. But what my goal is with the garden is everything in the garden and your apple trees, everything produces seeds so that every year you don't need to buy new seeds. So my idea is trying to do it as cheap as I can and as self-sustaining as I can. So one thing we learned that honestly I never knew before was once these radishes go to flower, they have got on the bottom of them, they've got seed pods. And I've heard you can eat the seed pods, but they're not like some Chinese dishes you could put them in, but they're not the best tasting. Let's see, where do we got some better? That was good on the seed pods.
There's a whole bunch of them right here.
Yeah, a bunch of them. What we're gonna do is we don't need this many seeds for next year's radishes. Matter of fact, we're gonna plant less radishes next year. We planted them too close together. big mistake. And so next year we'll probably do half this, but we're gonna leave 1 or 2 of these plants in here, because what you do is you leave it till it starts browning and dying, then you hang up the plant and let the seeds dry out, which are in these little seed pods in the middle of this. You've got, which might not be able to see, but you've got little seeds in here, and that right there will give you new radishes come next year. So that's what we're gonna do there. And my bees love it. We planted zinnias, kind of tangled in with the radishes, but along the side of the bed we planted zinnias. Got some really pretty ones right here, really pretty. Just to add some color, bring some bees in, and just like the way they look. We'll finish with this bed. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep a couple of these, and then we're gonna reseed with more radishes. And man, it's probably hard to see on the camera, but my honeybees they absolutely love this. Here we've got our carrots coming in. Got marigolds, try to bring in the
bad bugs.
Yeah,
Keep
bring
the
in the
bad
good bugs,
out.
keep the bad bugs out.
I'm not
Another
really sure
marigold.
how those petunias are here though.
Yeah, just random. We've got another petunia over there, random one coming up. So here's our peppers. Our peppers are doing really good. This first one's gonna be all our jalapenos. Got some nice ones coming. Next one's gonna be our giant peppers. So here's some decent giant peppers coming in. Then we've got our Carolina Reaper. Let's see, do we have any Carolina Reapers coming in yet? I'm trying to,
I don't think so.
I don't know if we had any of those. Oops, don't break stuff. So we might not have any of the Carolina Reapers yet. Then we got the Anaheim.
Not a lot of
Definitely,
those.
definitely have these coming in good. Really good. Then this next row is just miscellaneous of everything. Obviously there we've got a bell pepper. This might be, I'm not sure. Next row we got our Sugar Rush Peach. Is this one coming in yet?
Habanero, yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. Those look hot already. Spicy, spicy. Our paprika, which those are doing really good. And it's crazy.
Going to turn red.
These have probably all come up in 2 weeks' time. Just with the heat we've had. They were growing good, but with the heat we've had, 2 weeks, they've probably all come up. Then here, pimento.
Coming good.
Yep, little guys coming in on here. More zinnias along the side. More zinnias along the side. More pretty ones. Here we've got, and I'm hoping this grows big enough this year, had a late start to our okra. I absolutely love okra, but it's definitely having a late start, so we'll see.
We had to reseed it.
Yeah, we had to reseed it. Here we've got our beets, they're doing good. Little marigold here. We got a bush bean right here coming up. We kind of, I'll show you all my mistakes we make, because there's plenty of mistakes we make. We put in this hog panel trellis for over here. We got our sweet peas coming up. One.
Snap peas.
Snap peas. And every time we go out to the garden, there's nothing better than, they're just so fresh. So we're gonna have those coming up. But over here, we planted some bush beans. Well, bush beans aren't gonna climb, so
they still grow.
they're still growing, but they'll still be pretty. It's just not our idea of what we wanted. We did plant back behind here, and they honestly might not come up. We might have some coming up, but they're just not gonna have a lot of sun. Yes, there's some more beets coming up. We planted some climbing beans, but we'll see, that might not work. So over here on the next ones, here we've got our Brussels sprouts.
Mistake.
Another mistake. This is something we haven't grown before, so we're learning as we go. I wanted to show it in the video before we do it. We need to thin these out. They need to be about every 3 inches apart. And right now we've got them closer than that. We should have done it sooner than this, but there's a lot going on, so we didn't. So next over here, I've got some eggplants. I guess I need to finish eating that.
That one growing, starting.
Oh yeah, flowering right here. It's interesting. The eggplants are they've got spikies on them. Actually, now that it's been later in the season, it kind of seems like the spikes are off, but they used to have really big spikes all over their leaves. Here we've got another pepper because we had extra peppers and I didn't feel like throwing stuff away. The same beautiful zinnias over here. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna kind of do a harvest section. Actually, let me do that right now. Let me go grab a bucket. Zucchinis grow like a stinking weed. You really need probably one zucchini. I mean, the chickens love them, but holy moly, they grow like crazy. And you end up having some hidden under here that you don't find, and then they're just ginormous the next time. Let's see. Here's some big ones over here, hon. You wanna... Right here, some giant ones we'll harvest. That's too big, but we'll give them to the birds. They'll like them. Another one that's gonna be too big and grown weird. Here's another big one. Grab this guy. Too big. Over here. Now we'll grab, I'll take this over here. So over here we've got our cucumbers. This side cucumber, what kind was this one again?
Burpless.
This is burpless, and then over there it's the canning cucumbers.
Pickling, yeah.
Pickling cucumbers. So we've got these trellising up. This guy right here, he's gonna be ready to pick. Big, nice one. What's nice about the trellis system too, is it's easier to see them when they're on a trellis versus like they're on the ground, kind of hidden. Still, a little bit difficult to see, but not as bad. This guy, I'll let that guy grow a little bit more. Good. Oh, we got some big ones back here. Big guys back here hiding. Ooh, that's a big one. More big guys. Let's see what we got over here for zucchini.
Big ones.
Oh, here, this right here. See, this is what I would say is perfect eating one. Not too big. They get too big and they just kind of get more seedy, and I don't like them. Now over here, that's what I call a chicken one. That's giant. They're also good to do zucchini boats out of. We cut them in half, scoop out the middle, put spaghetti sauce and meat in there. Those turn out really good. Let's go with that guy. Will be a good one. And you can also eat the flowers. You can fill the flowers with cheese and whatnot, and you can eat the flowers. That's a good eating one right there. Yeah, I prefer them smaller. They're better eaten when they're small. So that's probably good on our zucchinis right now. Let's head over here to our pickling ones. What do you think? You think that guy? All our buckets not going to be nearly big enough.
You could pick that weird one. That
You think?
Did. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Not going to turn out right. And we just keep kind of, what do we got here? Is this one? Look at this. Is that a cucumber? That doesn't.
That's weird. That looks like a watermelon.
I know. But I feel like it's got to be off of this. Maybe it's a cucumber. It's just an odd shaped one.
Huh.
It's got to be. We didn't plant anything different. It just looks like a melon.
Unless we labeled it wrong.
Yeah, who knows? Oh, we got a big guy back here hiding. Real big guy. That's like a Jimmy John's cucumber right there. That's a big fatty. Another decent one here. And what we've been doing is it will trellis okay on its own. but we also don't want it trellising on the ground and whatnot. So if we've seen some kind of coming down like this, we'll take it and we'll just feed it back through and keep weaving its way up. So we'll set these to the side for now. We'll come back for them. So let's go over here. We've got more eggplants and we've got a bunch of flowers on them.
We have
So-
2 different kinds of eggplants.
Yeah. Do you remember the names of the different kinds we have?
We have a regular,
Or Black Beauty, right?
a black beauty, and I don't remember the other one. The skinnier ones.
Here's our corn. Our corn we planted nice and tight together so it can,
You can have a corn maze.
yeah, but it's so these tips can touch and that they can pollinate each other. Yay! So we've got those nice and thick. Then over here, we have got our artichokes coming up. We planted right here, I planted a little one. We unfortunately have a problem with moles, and I'm almost positive because we've got this all fenced off. Next day, it would just disappeared. I think a mole pulled it underground, the artichoke. But we've got these coming up. I'm hoping they're gonna give us some fruit, some artichokes this year. We will see. So now that we're done with the garden, let's go back here and show you how everything back here is going. In our field of weeds, we've got some little tomatoes growing back here just because we had extra. They're not doing great. They're not getting tons of water, but we'll have more tomatoes than we know what to do with. Here we've got watermelon coming through, and I'm constantly always pulling. Every time I come out here, pull Creeping Virginia, because it goes like crazy. But my bees have been pollinating the Creeping Virginia, like really liking it. Here we've got our cantaloupe coming through here. We've got our cantaloupe coming down through here and through there. Those are all doing good. Let's see, this one, what was this guy again? Just like
Just another watermelon.
another watermelon, and it ain't doing great. I mean, I just weed whacked back here. The weeds start getting tall back here. What my plan is with this area we have is, as you see when we walk down here, I've got weed barrier down and wood chips down. So that's what I want to do here is I want to create a stepped, I want to have a little stepped area so we can get up here easier. Then I'll have growing areas to each side, but we haven't got there yet. This watermelon's going pretty nuts. Now, if anybody knows what this is, please tell me. I was thinking it was like catnip, because it's like minty. I'm just not sure what it is, but my bees, I mean, the bees absolutely, they love it. Like, I mean, they're just on every single one of them. They really love it. So if anybody knows what that is, please comment below. Here we've got our going crazy. Okay, so let's walk
Pretty sure
around.
there's a baby one in here if you want to show.
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah, look at that nice guy.
There's the cantaloupe.
There's that coming up.
But then here's a watermelon.
That's
So-
from, oh, we planted both in here?
No. Well,
Well, we had to have. They're both the same then.
well,
It must
that's
just be another
weird.
cantaloupe.
Yeah. Just look
Creeping
over.
Virginia just climbing up in the tree, and every time we're pulling it out of the tree, pulling it out. I like it. It covers quick, but phew, it's a fight. So over here, oh, this looks dry. This definitely needs some water. Up here, we got some random squashes, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We
which
didn't know
is
what
which.
squashes these were. Some more squash here. More, just summer squash maybe?
Yeah, some sort of summer squash.
Maybe the patty pan, I'm not positive. More
This is-
squash. This was,
Yellow squash.
this is our yellow squash, which
summer squash.
summer
Pick
squash.
that.
That one's good to harvest. I'll wait till we get back, but I guess, yeah, harvest it. That's good to go. Here, so late in the year, way late planting, we were cleaning out our pantry and we had some potatoes that were sprouting. We were just gonna throw them away, and I'm like, let's not throw them away. Let's experiment with it. So I buried them out here, and I've actually, this whole section, this whole patch right here has some in it. It does not appear like they've all taken off. It kind of seems like what you see is what we're gonna get, but we'll be able to harvest them late into the year. So kind of curious to see what we're gonna get there. Then along here, we've got our pumpkins. So this whole section on this side of the fence should all be pumpkins. On the arena side of the fence is all gonna be our gourds, which we will walk right around to that. I'll just kind of walk down here and show you what we got going on. Got some little guys blooming coming through. We keep trying to drag it down here so it doesn't go into my arena. Okay, let's see, what do we got? And then this creeping Virginia over here, I'm telling you, it's a fight with it. A fight with it. So where are we at? Oh, look over here. This is a nice one. So over here, we've got some nice, and I believe these should be our pumpkins coming through. We've got some decent ones. This one looks like it might be getting eaten already. Got some decent ones over there. You just definitely want to make sure you plant your pumpkins where they have room to go, and that's why we have them down here, not in the garden, because at the end of the year you won't be able to walk through here. This is just all going to be pumpkins. Let's walk around here, and I'll show you back here. I'll take the phone so my wife doesn't get afraid of the bees. So over here, down in our canyon area, I have got my beehive. So these are the bees that I caught at a neighbor's house. We've got them in here. They're doing good. I've got them under the tree so they're shaded, away from the weather. It was kind of interesting. So when I first caught them, if you catch a honeybee swarm, you can walk over here so you can be by me. If you catch a honeybee swarm, you want to take it at least 5 miles away, because bees have like a built-in GPS in them. And they also, when they first leave the hive, they turn around, they look, they see what it looks like. And then plus their built-in GPS, they'll fly 3 miles away to forage, but they'll know exactly how to get back here, which is pretty impressive. My neighbor's house is probably less than a mile away, half mile away where I caught the bees. I didn't want to go drop them off 5 miles. You drop them off 5 miles or more away, leave them there for a week, then you can come back and bring them back here, and it basically will reset their GPS. I know it sounds weird, but that's how it works. What I did instead was I took a bunch of branches and I just piled branches I stuffed them hard all along the entrance. So as soon as the bees left, what you have to kind of imagine is the reason why the bees would swarm back to where I got them from is because that's where their GPS was set to, and in the wild, trees don't just move. So their hive's not gonna just move. But when I put the branches in front of it, that's signaling that if they were in the woods and they had a storm or something and it blew trees down in front of their hive, stuff might be messed up and they need to reorient their GPS. So it worked for me putting the sticks out front, and I've got them. I'll pop the top so we can kind of
Let me come up with this.
see them a little bit. And I just built this top, nothing fancy. Got a little insulation in here. We've got this top board because they just seal it shut. And so without me having my hive tool, and I'm not gonna go get my hive tool to pop it open, ooh, they're in there. So here they all are, doing good. Got all their frames of honey in here. We'll stick that back on. I'm not gonna upset them too much right now. Get my wife stung, and then she won't be happy with me at all. I got them climbing all over my legs right now. Okay, so now let's finish up, and we're gonna look at the gourds we have growing over here. Hoping at the end of the season, we've got gourds just covering this whole fence. Of course, we've got tackweeds like crazy that we are fighting all the time. Eventually, we've only lived here 2 years. Eventually, I am hoping we will win the battle of the tackweed, but only time will tell. Okay, so here's our gourds. We've got some baby gourds, tiny, tiny little baby gourds growing on here. And I use the gourds, I make bird houses with them, paint them, decorate them. I really enjoy the gourds. So we just constantly keep trying to train it to grow along the fence. Gourds, crazy. Gourds galore. I also plan on putting some more of the wood chips along this side to help keep the weeds down, because it's actually turned out really good back there. Whereas last year we had a ton of weeds down there. Now having the wood chips, we are all good with weeds down there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you would like to see more of what we have going on here. There's a whole lot more work to be done here. We are far from professionals. We're just trying to learn how to be self-sufficient, live on our own, and contribute back to society. Have a good day.